Hi everyone, so we're going to review the entire homepage dashboard. This is what appears when you first log into HMIS. The training site does have an orange bar on the top, which is the only distinction between the training site and the live site. Most functionality is the same. So I'm going to review exactly what you're seeing when you first log into the page. First, you're going to notice that your name is listed on the top right. If at any point you notice that this is not your name, please automatically log out on the bottom left of your screen to make sure that you log in to your username. HMIS usernames should never be shared under any circumstances. If you've verified that this is your account after you've logged in, this is just the Case Manager 1 that you see here. This is just the level of access, which varies depending on what your supervisor or what it is deemed necessary for you to see in the system. 90% of our case managers do have this level of access unless they need to run reports or oversee different case managers' workflows. So this is just your basic level of access. The first thing on the left-hand side, you'll notice that we are using Service Point for our HMIS system. You will see the Rhode Island Coalition for the Homeless logo on the left-hand side, or if there's a different logo for your organization, that will appear there. It will say the Service Point training site, or it'll just say Service Point here. And then this provider that's listed here, this is the provider that I was created under for my username. So when your username was initially created, so Shalissa Kudalakis Training, when this provider created me, they created me under the Rhode Island Coalition for the Homeless Housing Locator Program. This indicates that any information I put into the system will automatically be captured under this program. This is very important to pay attention to when it comes to this button next to Mode that is labeled Enter Data As. What this means is because I already am automatically entering data into the system as the Housing Locator Program, if I had other projects that my clients needed to be entered into or that I needed to enter services into, I need to make sure that I always click on Enter Data As before accessing those projects. So I do that by clicking on it, and a box will come up. And there's going to be a lot more providers here than you will normally see. Usually people only have 2 or 3, maybe a little bit more access to different providers. And what you would want to do is you can either type in the name of the project that you are looking for. So for example, if I was looking for our legal clinic, this is the name of the provider. So what you do is you see the list. You can see that there is a green plus, which means you can select them to enter data as. This blue circle just means that they are a Service Point user. So please do not ever use anything that is not a Service Point user. It could just mean that it's an old provider that needs to be removed from the system or is just left in the system for reporting purposes. So always just pay attention to the project you're checking on. If you are not sure, you can always scroll over the project and it'll give you a brief description of what the project is. Now this may not be updated, so you always just want to double check with your supervisor if you're not sure. You will notice that the project has a bin number, so each project in the system is considered a bin in our system. Other systems across the country use different words. We call our projects bins. So the bin, if I was interested in selecting the bin for the legal clinic to enter data into the system, I would select bin number 1540, and that's the number at the end. The level is not anything that I need to worry about as a user, but there is a contact phone number and the location that may help you identify what project you'd like to enter data into. So this came up when I was searching for the name. Now I want to click Clear. If I already knew what the provider number was, I would just go to Provider ID and type in the number. So I saw that the Rhode Island Legal Clinic was 1540. If I type it in and click Submit or just hit Enter on your keyboard as I did, that'll be the only project that shows up. So if there's a certain number of projects you use or specific projects you use, it's good to know what the provider ID or the bin number is so you can just search for it that way if you have many different projects that you use. However, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the green plus since I want to enter data as this provider. So when I do that, I'll notice that this still says Rhode Island Coalition for the Homeless Housing Locator on the top left. However, what is different is that it says enter data as Rhode Island Coalition. This gets confusing because I may not have remembered what one I selected if I had many. So all you have to do is just scroll over it and make sure it's the correct one. So yes, I wanted to select the legal clinic. That is correct. And that's how I would enter data as. Now when I'm in this mode, everything I put in the system would be under the program listed under enter data as. If I want to get out of this, all I need to do is click on the link and I'm no longer entering data as. Now I am entering data under the housing locator program. And you'll notice that there's no link after enter data as, which indicates that you are not entering data under a different provider. Now the backdate mode is used for many different reasons. When you click on it, this pops up. This is used if you are entering data in the future for something in the past. The main usage that our system uses it for is, say a client had entered our system or entered our shelter or entered our project. Before I had a chance to make sure that they were in the system, I want to make sure that I use backdate mode. And we're going to get into that more in our video about creating clients in the system, but backdate mode is mainly if I wanted to enter data in for the day before today or any day in the past. Say I wanted to enter data in for Christmas Day 2018, I could type that in. 12 a.m. is usually the standard time that it automatically sets to. If there's a specific time you know you need, you can select that. And when you're in backdate mode, in order to do this, you just click set backdate and the top turns yellow. This is the same on the live site. This is very important that when you are done entering data under 12/25/18 or any date in the past, that you are making sure that you are exiting out of backdate mode. Okay, because everything I put in the system right now would be recorded as of 12/25. Other than that, it may be rare that you're actually in backdate mode. A lot of date fields are customizable. So this is just a good way for you to know what these functions are. To get out of backdate mode, you just click on the X next to it. And if I wanted to type in a different date, I could just do it again. However, today, January 26, 2019, and that's the date that I need to put data into the system for. This home page dashboard is where you're going to automatically go to see all of your things that we will set up together. So first, this little last viewed section is actually a drop-down list. So if I had looked at 10 client profiles, this will show me the last 10 clients I looked at. And these are arrows, so I can collapse it or expand it. Favorites, you can actually mark clients as favorites by clicking on the star on the right hand side when you're on their client profile, and it'll list them by client ID, but you can scroll over them and see their names. Home is going to take you here. Client point is used to search for clients. Resource point is not presently used in our system, but is used to search different resources available in our system. Reports, depending on what type of reports you would need to run, if you need to run any. It's either a drop-down list like I showed you here, or you can click on it and these will show up. So reports is a different video, but if you are interested in learning about any of these and are unable to find a video, please give us a call at the Rhode Island Coalition for the Homeless. Admin, so there's not going to be much here except news admin, which is usually just for your agency. When you go back home, which is this button on the left, which is always going to be here, any system news is posted by the Rhode Island Coalition for the Homeless, and that will show up here. If you have access to news admin and the ability to add news, that would be under this tab for agency news. Agency news is specific for your organization and only people in your organization can see the news. Usually administrators manage this. Many organizations aren't yet utilizing it but can use it. And if you do have the ability to add news, feel free to do whatever your supervisor deems necessary. And then on the bottom under admin, we have logout, and that's where you click to log out. before I get into the specifics of what we are going to do with clients in different videos, I just wanted to show you guys how to actually customize your homepage dashboard. And you can do that by clicking on this arrow to the left-hand side of Customize Homepage Dashboard. You'll see that you can add accounts report or preview accounts report. We're just going to click Add Accounts Report. Depending if you already have this set up, it'll show up down here as it did, or up here with the follow-up list, which is another training video. So we're just going to pay attention to your accounts report. Now the second you go to add it, it says on the top you have modified your homepage dashboard, and you want to click Save to save your changes. It's okay if you end up not liking it, you just want to click Save so you don't lose any progress you've made. Okay, so if I want to edit it, we see that there's 4 different boxes here. When we go to edit the accounts report, which we'll do by clicking this pencil, you'll see it asks for the top left box, top right, bottom left, bottom right, and then that's what those labels are referring to. So when we click on the pencil, as we see for Edit Dashlet, it shows the exact same as the 4 boxes I explained. So we're just going to focus on the top 2 for now, which have been the most helpful I've seen in the people I've trained. We're going to select top left, which is going to be a number that shows up here. And for this, you're going to see that there's a bunch of different options. The ones I've found to be most helpful are to see my clients. In the system, this means that these are all of the clients that I have went into and assigned myself as case manager for. And I want that number to show up here. On the top right, which is going to be right next to the number listed as my clients, I want this to be set for my clients with an entry but no exit, which means that these are clients that have been entered into a provider with no exit, so they're still actively entered into the project, and I am still assigned as their case manager. For this, we want to select all dates, and we're going to do system-wide, because if they're my clients, they should be, I want to know how many of them are entered into my projects. So if we click OK, these numbers should match. When I do have numbers here, these links are clickable, so I will have clients listed, all of the people that are assigned as my clients here, where I could just click on their client ID. I don't have to search for them, and it'll take me right to their client profile. These numbers should always match because I never want somebody that's assigned as my client that's not also entered into my program. This is a good reminder if you're exiting someone from a program to make sure that you also unassign yourself as case manager. Okay, when you're done editing this counts report, as you will see, there are numerous different things you could do for the other 2 boxes. If you ever need assistance, just call us the Coalition for the Homeless and we'll be happy to help you. However, this is optional. When you are done, you just want to make sure you click Save on the top. Okay, and then notice there is a refresh button on the bottom right of the counts report box. If I go in and say I notice that I have a client that's still assigned to me and I forgot to unassign them, I then go to their profile and make it so I'm no longer their case manager. They're going to still show up here until I click refresh or until I log out and log back in. But as we know, clicking refresh is probably going to be the most simple way to do that. Okay, before we finish, I just want to show that on the top it says type here for global search. You can search for client ID, you can search for providers, you can search for different services, you can do anything here. You just want to make sure if I'm looking for a client, this is the training site, so these aren't real client names, that you click on the correct client. So you're not going to someone's record without their permission. To the right of that, you'll see the alerts. So if there's an alert, say there's new system news or we have something incoming for you, this will be alerted. Right now there's no alerts. This star, as we discussed before, is how you make a client your favorite to show up on this list. And then this question mark is actually a handy help guide that has screenshots and everything for everything you may need to know. So you can search, you can scroll through this, but for example, the login screen, everything I explained is here. Okay, and that's it for our overview of the homepage dashboard.